Hello, and welcome to a commentary for the TVP VTU. This is a Tier 8 Czechoslovakian medium tank. It is a 3-round autoloader. Some of the strengths, top speed is around 50 to 55 with the turbo. I'm adding a turbo here to boost that top speed and that engine power. It's a little bit slower than most other medium tanks, especially light tanks. The DPM is a 1500, so you do have to kind of manage your reloads. It does great burst damage, but it's difficult when the enemy team is driving out in front of you and they're all exposed. It's very difficult to keep up. You have to be opportunistic. You have to create opportunities, find opportunities, and exploit them. I also have an accuracy module. I will probably swap that out for a gun laying drive, just because I don't think I need the accuracy. I think I need the aim time. And then I have coated optics because this thing's view range is pretty good from this beginning. But when you're not taking shots, you need to be able to see your opponents before they see you. And this makes the view range excellent. And because I'm grinding this tank, I'm trying to get through it onto the Tier 9. I am splurging a little bit with a premium consumable. So that's the sort of the first part of the analysis. So we are on Fisherman's Bay, and this is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the team list. So first things first, we have Enemy 257. This is a super overpowered Russian heavy tank, premium tank, 3-round autoloader, 390 alpha damage. So this thing can put out approximately just shy of 1,200 alpha damage in like 4 or 5 seconds. So super overpowered, Type 4 heavy. Big, fat, stupid Japanese heavy tank. It's gonna crush the town. Tiger Mouse. So it's a pretty good matchup, honestly. 257 versus 257. Tiger Mouse, Type 4. Tortoise, Object. I mean, the matchmaker's doing its job. I don't think this is a super unbalanced matchup. The Indian Panzer is kind of slow, just like my tank. Nobody really is super skilled in their vehicles. I mean, this Scorpion G has 57 levels in it, but that's a premium tank. You start out making levels, so it doesn't mean as much in a premium tank to have levels next to your name as it does a tech tree tank. So my first plan is to go in the middle, because the heavies are going to fight it out here. There's a lot of tank destroyers, which are going to be back here. My first priority when this game first starts is to kill the Indian Panzer and to kill the Ashton Rex. Because there's no light tanks. Oh, there is also an ELC, so I stand corrected. We also have an ELC, so it's fine. My objective is to kill the ELC, kill the Indian Panzer, and kill the Ashton Rex. Usually, medium tanks play around in the little mini town right here, so that's where I'm going in the beginning. If I fast forward a couple of seconds, okay, so I get to where I'm going, I spot this guy, and then we're going to watch how things kind of play out for a minute. Okay, I noticed KV5 going sicko mode, and I can't shoot him from where I am, so I'm going to move. Okay, and then I spot IS-3. He is also going sicko mode, but he is on the far side of the town. He is on my side of this giant building. KV5 was protected on his approach coming up this way, but the IS-3 is not. Okay, so this is what differentiates good players from great players. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that my DPM in this tank is not very good. If my DPM was better, I would just sit here and I would farm this IS-3 and there's nothing he could do about it. However, because I am reloading for 22 seconds and I have a medium tank right here, he's not doing anything. I'm going to tell him, hey, I need help. Okay, I also put it in a chat. Okay, and it's at this point, this IS-3 is dead meat. Okay, so I'm in the middle. Not much has happened in the middle. Heavy tanks have taken some damage over here, but not really much, there's no development in the middle. There's only very little development on the right. But it seems that because the tank destroyers don't have medium tanks or light tanks supporting them, that there has been penetration on the left flank. So I am going to reposition. Okay, huge moment. We have spotted the ELC. So now my current, as I'm still approaching this this flank, I am like, okay, that guy is who I'm going for. Well, and then he died. Okay, so that's why this tank is great. 716 damage in like 4 seconds is fantastic. I farmed the Scorpion. Not really paying attention to the heavy tank flank because I am not over there. I also wouldn't really be much assistance over there as far as I believe. I am a bit, as far as this is concerned, the deployment of our heavy tanks is kind of passive. There's a difference between passive and defensive. This guy is pretty much isolated. He doesn't have any assistance from his guys back here or these two guys stacked up right here. These two guys are stacked up right here, so there's nobody protecting this flank because this guy is blocked by this little L-shaped building. This guy's too far back. These guys can only see right here. So if we had some more enemy tanks go sicko mode in this region, like the IS-3 and the KV-5 in the early game, these guys are all pretty isolated. I wasn't really paying attention in game, but now that I look at it and I know how this game ended, I'm not surprised that it ended the way it did. So I see the Indian Panzer. I know in the earlier analysis of the game there's going to be a bunch of tank destroyers back here, but maybe I paid a little bit of attention to the heavy tank flank, and I know that we need to get over there. So I'm going to try to kill this Indian Panzer because at the beginning of the game I said my priorities are the Indian Panzer, the Aston Rex, and the ELC. The ELC is dead, so we don't know where the Aston Rex is, so we're going to kill the Indian Panzer. And the way I do it is not that great. Well, it is a little bit great only because I got help from my team, and you'll see that in a second. Okay, so that only worked because the Indian Panzer overextended. I had all of my hit points, and I got help from my friends. If any of those things had not been true, I would have died right there. Okay, so now that the Indian Panzer is dead and there's no vision on my tank destroyers, I see the Aston Rex has appeared in the middle. So I'm about to reposition and try to take him on. So I initially ended up trying to look for shots back here, but I couldn't get any, so I go into the town. And my tank destroyers, credit to them, they pushed. That would not have happened before 2.0. Okay, and it is at this point that I have realized, and I should have been paying more attention to the map, but this took me completely by surprise. And this is also the reason why I take coded optics. Because if I hadn't taken coded optics, I probably wouldn't have spotted these guys crossing the field. But the right flank has completely collapsed. And this is where games get interesting, because sometimes both flanks win, and it's just kind of a cleanup at the end. Games get interesting when things are about the way they are right now. When your team is down, but not by a lot, you have an opportunity to have a massive game as a medium tank, or as a light tank. Possibly as a tank destroyer, but that depends on the tank destroyer. So I'm like, oh shoot, I'm about to die. So my priority shifts to survival. While at the same time trying to kill the Ashen Rex. Now we spot those guys over there. The ISU that clapped me earlier. I'm not really worried about him because he has bigger problems to deal with. He has an ELC barreling down his throat and 3 tank destroyers on the left here. So I'm not really worried about him. I just want to kill this Ashen Rex. Okay, at this point, before 2.0 update, this would be the stalemate. So initially I go to capture, but then a Type 4 Heavy starts barreling down our throat. And I am like, okay, well they start capping as well. And I'm like, okay, I have to go reset the cap. Okay, so we start capping. We only have 1 in the cap circle, so the only thing that I can fault our tank destroyers with is if we had more in the cap circle, we might have won this game. The only, like, this Type 4 Heavy is the only threat to our cap circle. It seems that the other guys are being more cautious or they're capping, so they're all staying on this side of the map. But you don't really think about this kind of stuff in the heat of the moment, because this is all happening in seconds. I have the benefit of pressing the pause button here, but I'm about to make a crucial mistake. Okay, the thing that I don't take into account here is A, they are going to outcap us by 30 seconds. B, we have a ton of tank destroyers already taking aim at this massive target. And C, the ELC has tremendous camo, and so the likelihood of the Type 4 Heavy spotting the ELC before he is destroyed is very low. And I screw this all the way up. He kills me right there, and that gets me so much, because if I had ignored the Type 4 Heavy, I could have gone and reset. I had great view range. I know for a fact that I would have outspotted every single Heavy in that cap circle. We had a tank destroyer that was aimed at the cap circle, so I would have had support. And the Type 4 Heavy was going to die before he achieved anything. So the only thing this Type 4 Heavy did was keep me from winning the game. See, because he died instantly after he killed me. And then, so because I'm dead, this guy is the only one that has the capacity to reset the cap, and to his credit, he actually did once. But he has no vision, he has no hit points, his gun is destroyed. He doesn't, like, the ELC is capping, so he can't. The ELC was probably the only one that actually had the capability to reset the cap, win the game, but he has to cap. I'm not faulting him. Really, our team did very well, except for the heavies, but that's probably just from inexperience. And then I threw the game by getting killed by the Type 4. So oftentimes you don't learn from success. It's the failures that teach you. And with 2.0 update, the mentality of the player base has changed dramatically. This type of game would never have played out. Like, if before 2.0, the Type 4 would have capped. And then all of our tank destroyers would have capped. I wouldn't have had to stop to shoot him. I probably would have reset the cap and we would have won. But it would have been a much slower, much more boring game. There probably would have been help for the Indian Panzer. The Indian Panzer in that position, normally, the Indian Panzer was around about here. He would have had help down in here. I probably would have died pushing the Indian Panzer like that before 2.0. But the dynamics of the game are very different, and they are very interesting, and they are very fun, honestly. Because this was a fun game to lose. Even though we lost, I still hate losing. It taught me a lot of valuable stuff about the way the game is played now. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.